To be honest, at start it was good because the market was giving favor to the automated trading bot. Unfortunately, it started getting drawdowns. Actually, it got burned. I really lost almost $10,000 in total. From then, 5 years now that I've been trading with the market.
So far in your journey, what would you say your overall payouts are if you were to combine them all together?
In US dollars, it's around 6 digits, I guess.
What is your strategy?
I know some of you are already familiar with SMC or smart money concept. So I have this acronym for my strategy. This is called the DRIVE strategy, which stands for.
Okay, so welcome to this trader's interview. So first of all, who are you and where are you from?
Yeah, hello there. I am Jay De Los Santos from the Philippines.
Welcome, Jay. Thank you for coming today. So first of all, how long have you been trading?
So yeah, I have started trading way back. It was April 2020. So as you know, it was pandemic. So I started learning the forex market. Actually, I just joined an AA group or an automated trading group during that time because during that time I was still learning. So I want to have a grasp of this industry. That's why I just learned by observing how the bot works. To be honest, at start it was good because the market was giving favor to the automated trading bot. Unfortunately, a couple of months passed by and it started getting drawdowns and unfortunately, actually it got burned. So it was an unfortunate event that happened to me. But um, for me, since I am an open-minded person and I am very much willing to experience this type of industry, so I just took it as a good learning opportunity because along the way, I also practiced manual trading while observing how the bot works. That's
So
how I started.
brilliant. That's a great way to start. So during that time when you was using the automated trading bot, were you using live funds or were you actually on a funded account?
At start, it was actually my personal account that I was exposing. So um, the bot was using a live account, my personal account, but along the way, I was practicing manual but demo. Demo first, so while I was still learning. To be frank with you, along the way when I was using the bot, I actually got curious and I used my personal account for manual trading. And
Oh, really?
to be fair with you, um, I got lucky actually. In my first week, I earned, I think, in the first 4 days, I earned $4,000. But
Wow.
uh, unfortunately, yeah, it's a very good experience. But unfortunately, it was Friday, and if I remember correctly, it was NFP, and I didn't know how to use the correct lot size, and now I've realized that I was actually using martingale and layering during that time. So yeah, it was a very good start. 4 days for 4K US dollar, but it got eventually. Um, I just get back to my original balance,
Yeah.
fortunately.
So
So
would you
yeah,
say
it
the
was a great
trading
experience.
Amazing. So would you say the trading bot is kind of what started you to look at the markets and think, hang on a minute, I want to trade and know how to do this on my own without this bot?
Yeah, that's right. So that was a good start.
So during that period, what would you say the biggest loss was that you took at that time?
So the first, as I've mentioned, the first was actually a break even in my manual because I was observing my account during that time, and my goal was actually just to preserve the account first. In short, I was okay losing all the profits that I made in the first 4 days. So yeah, that's it.
Brilliant. Okay. So once you was losing all those funds, how did that make you feel at that time?
So as you all know, all the first time traders was like feeling like cold, even if it's like very hot in your room. So it's like I'm sweating a lot
Yeah.
during that time. So I can really remember still right now that the pumping of my heart during that time. It's very unforgettable experience.
No, it definitely is. I can say we've all been there. We've all been through that. So
Yeah.
how would you say you changed from then?
So yeah, from then, actually, since right now, I think it's around almost 5 years now that I've been trading with the market. So along the way, when I was actually using the bot, of course, doing still manual, I can actually remember, though I mentioned I was break even, but there were also times that I was being playful. I was gambling my money,
Mm.
personal money, and actually, I cannot recall how much exactly, but I really lost in US dollar. I think around almost $10,000 in total. But of course, it's a win loss scenario. So not all losses, of course. So
No, of course, yeah.
yeah,
But the one thing to take from it all, I suppose, is that it's all been a lesson to bring you to the trader you are
yeah,
today.
yeah,
Amazing.
exactly. It's a very big lesson. I can really say that without those losses, I will not become who I am today.
No, exactly. So moving on to where you are today then, how much are you actually funded with Alpha Capital Group UK?
So right now, I'm actually funded with 200K US dollar at the moment. So I'm still working for more funding actually.
Okay, perfect. So have you actually received any payouts from that 200K?
Yeah, actually, though not that much. Maybe you can show my biggest payout so far was actually around $6,000.
Oh, amazing. That's brilliant, mate. Absolutely amazing. To come
Thank you,
from the
thank
where
you.
you was as a trader to not really knowing what you're doing, gambling your profits to now making $6,000 on a funded account. That's absolutely amazing. So from where you was when you was on that personal account to where you are now making $6,000 on a funded account, how would you say you got there psychologically to get to where you are now as a trader?
So yeah, of course, it was a very hard experience because there are a lot of sleepless nights, starting from the robot, as I mentioned, that there were a couple of nights that I can sleep just watching the drawdown on the account.
Yeah.
And of course, eventually I learned how to manage the risk properly and not to, gamble, especially when it comes to this prop firm trading, because funded trading or prop firm trading is really a different game when it comes to trading because it's very much different when it comes to personal account because you have rules that you need to follow, you need to manage your risk. So to be honest, having this prop firm rules has helped me a lot not to over risk and over leverage because um, in this type of scenario you'll not have an option. In short, you will be forced to manage your risk or else you will breach your account that
No,
fast.
absolutely. For you as an experienced trader now, would you recommend all new traders to go straight to the funding side of things instead of being on those personal accounts? Would you say you learn more from being on a funded account?
Yeah, to be honest, there's pros and cons with both of them, but you can go straight to funding account if you have already practiced. But what I'm saying is you can go directly to the funding, but you will just need to practice first on a demo account before buying
Absolutely.
challenges.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what I'm.
Perfect. So far in your journey, what would you say your overall payouts are if you were to combine them all together?
For Alpha Capital Group or for other all my other funded accounts.
So let's do it for Alpha Capital Group and then we can do an overall of everything.
So right now, actually, I think I'm below 10,000 for Alpha Capital Group. I'm just starting with Alpha Capital Group because, as you know, there's a lot of companies before that are also good, but however, Alpha Capital Group right now has really risen to the top, to be honest. So for the other companies, of course, around in US dollars, it's around 6 digits, I guess.
Wow, that's amazing. May I ask, what was you doing before trading? What did your life look like? Was you working? What kind of job did you have?
Yeah, before trading, actually, I was an e-commerce practitioner. In short, I was selling online before actually the pandemic. And as you know, like here in the country, the airlines was shut down during that time. So I had no choice but, to study. In fact, I was really um, anxious during that time because I thought, to be honest, trading was a scam at first because trading here in our country has a different view or it's not a good reputation way back 2020. But right now, of course, it's very different.
Okay, brilliant. So would you say, how would you say trading has changed your life?
Yeah, trading, especially prop firm trading, really changed my life because when I look back, I really don't have that big personal capital
Yeah.
to say because I'm just a simple person. But when you have this big funding, even if you just reach like 1 to 2% or like for every payout or like below
No.
5%, it can really had a big impact. If of course if you have a big account like here in the country, not that high of a living expense. So
Yeah.
yeah, it really changed my life.
Brilliant, amazing. Well, we're absolutely blown away to hear that come from you because a lot of people don't make it in trading. So, what would your advice be to a beginner trader?
First, you have to master the basics first because there are a lot of people who will just see the success and they will just see the payouts, but they didn't know how hard it is because, as I've mentioned, I also burned a lot of money on the process. Honestly, at start, I really want to get rich quick. That's why I didn't, you know, I can see in the videos, YouTube videos, that you need to manage your risk properly, but I was really hard-headed because, I got the wrong expectation. But so in short, you have to manage your expectations first, that this is not a get rich quick scheme. That first you have to master the basics first. You need to know how to manage your risk, all the basic, master the terminologies. Of course, then you then develop a trading strategy, and of course you have to have a trading plan that fits your lifestyle because a lot of traders or newbie traders want just to copy everyone who are making it big in the industry, but they don't realize that it's not applicable to them. So in short, just have to undergo the process. That's what I'm talking about. So you have to love the process up until you will get the hang of it, and then of course eventually the results will follow. In as I am always preaching to my students in my academy, that if you master the process, you can always repeat the results.
Amazing, that's great to hear. So, talking about strategy now, what is your strategy?
Yeah, this is actually my strategy right now. So I know some of you are already familiar with SMC or smart money concept. So to be honest, my strategy is has evolved and is actually evolving still. But I started with the basics, of course, support and resistance, and eventually in fact, I also underwent to some indicators that I am actually, fond of because it's easier. Though it's still a good way to trade, but right now I'm more inclined to use this concept. Actually, I have this acronym for my strategy. This is called the drive strategy, which stands for, as you can see, D for direction. In short, you will for the trend of the market. Is it trending up or trending down? And then you will create the range or the swing high and swing low, wherein you will then look for within that range points of interest or interest. In short, the areas where you will find trades, and in SMC you will look for like order blocks, so stuffs like that. And then of course V, you will compute, predefine your risk, the value at risk. Is it 1%, 2%? So in my case, actually, in challenges, I risk more, but on the funded account, I risk lesser. So my typical risk to reward ratio is 1:2, or sometimes 1:1 when it is funded, because sometimes when there's real money involved or payout involved, if you see a payout and you want to withdraw it, if you can see, so sometimes I do it. And of course, E is for execute. You will have to execute is either pending order or market execution. So depends on my availability during that time.
Brilliant, okay, amazing. So, could you actually show us one of your best
Oh yeah,
performing trades?
yeah. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, I just I actually starting. I'm starting my overview for the pairs. For example, this one, Euro USD. So I'm actually using 4 hours first. So I'll check first for the trend, as you can see. So like for example, this one is clearly a downtrend, and then we have this change of character right now. So to be honest, this 4 hour time frame is just my guide, my overall guide for me to check what's the higher time frame narrative. But when it comes to execution, this actually on the M15 time frame. So like for example, this one, I have marked out my swing range. So for example, previously we have big downtrend, right? So when I can see that there are, like for example, this one, like there's already a break of structure here, and this is actually a mechanical way that I'm using. That say for example, like this one, this a break of this swing low. So when I can see that there's a 3 candle pullback, so like this one, 1, 2, 3. So I mark out this one as a swing low. So for example, I haven't put it there, so I'll just use like this one, swing low, this one, and then as you can see, it was broken. So it was broken, and then after the pullback, it was broken. So the basic logic here is that, so you all know that after the break, there's always a pullback. So you can actually say that this is a trend following strategy, mainly, or in short, a pullback trading strategy, that after the break, you will find areas where the market will likely pull back. For us to, or like for me to see where in the market it would pull back, I will use a Fibonacci tool to find the OTE, or the optimal trade entry. So as you can see, in this example, we have a bearish order block here. So here, so you can actually mark out or put a rectangle here. And then as you can see, it's above, or it is within this 0.786 Fibonacci level. So in this example, I will use a pending order, and then I will use my stop loss just outside this zone. So as I mentioned, I am actually using 1:1 or 1:2. As you can see here. So 1:2 is still big because you can see that it's 11 pips. So what I'm going to do, since we are in a Euro USD, so we can refine it for us to check for a smaller stop loss. So let me just now, so since M15 time frame, we have a bigger stop loss, 11 pips, because normally I'm actually using 5 to 8 pips stop loss. So I will refine it, and then I will look for this, like this one, small green here, here, and then stop loss would be just outside the zone. So instead of me entering here in a much earlier time, so I will just set my pending order here like this, and then I will check how many pips. So like this one, it's 8 pips, so just outside the zone. So and then as I mentioned, we will use 1:2. So as I mentioned, if this is a funded account, sometimes I will just use 1:1 just to, you know,
1 to 1.
secure the bag. But normally for the funded for the challenge account, I will use 1:2. So this one, of course, is has took its profit. So in short, the TP was hit. But of course, it's not always like this. So there are times that it won't hit TP. So the win rate for this one is around just 50%, to be honest. So there are times that it's lost. So like this one, there are also times that there are no opportunities. So I'll just have to wait. So for this one also, this is another example for pending order, uh, like this one. So we will zoom in for you to see. So this one is just for the green candle. So these are bearish order blocks. So again, this is a simple strategy, to be honest. Just have to use OTE and then combination of Fibonacci and then market structure and supply and demand. So
Perfect.
yeah.
Thank you very much for explaining that. That is an absolutely great strategy. So how did you actually find this edge, and how did you find this strategy? How did you get to the point where you realized this thing is profitable and it works?
Yeah, to be honest, it was a lot of refining, and to be frank with you, I have already also thousands of dollars for mentorships and learning from other communities, from other mentors. So at start, it was actually just pure YouTube, but eventually I realized that it's not enough. That's why I jump from mentor to mentor, and eventually I have figured out on my own what fits me and my lifestyle.
So for a beginner trader, what would be the biggest advice you could give them to find their edge?
So yeah, for you to be or for you to find your edge as a beginner, actually there's a lot of ways that you can do it. First is you can study it on your own. Like as I've mentioned, you can do YouTube, or you can self-study. That's actually one way. But for me, the fastest way to learn or to find your edge is from a mentor that has already proven himself with the track record. Because I believe that if you want to have a shortcut, or as they say, there's no shortcut, but I believe there's a shortcut to success. The shortcut is your mentor, because if the mentor knows the way, shows to me, and um, have proven that he has results, all you have to do is just have to follow what he is saying. But of course, um, you still need to experience it on your own, because it's really different that you will just learn and you will not apply.
Brilliant, thank you for that. What were some of the things you'd hear from other people when you told them you're going to go and try and be a trader?
Um, to be honest, I was not sharing my journey at start, because, like right now, I was, if I recall that when my account got burned, I immediately, like, when it was in profit, took a screenshot, but after it got burned, I'm really ashamed. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
really down that time, so I deleted everything. In short, um, I didn't share it to anyone aside from my wife.
Oh, brilliant. That's really sweet. Okay, so coming back to Alpha Capital Group then, how's your overall experience been with Alpha Capital Group UK?
So when it comes to Alpha Capital Group, actually, like when I started, it was really, really good, because um, to be honest, I can see that as I know that the Alpha Capital Group has its own brokerage, right? So
Correct.
from the start, I was really, trusting the company, because I know not a lot of companies are like that. So when it comes to payout, of course, there's processes like interview, but overall experience is really smooth so far, like,
Amazing.
as the moment.
That's what we like to hear. That's exactly what we like to hear. So why did you actually choose Alpha then?
Yeah, as I've mentioned, to be honest, I am really, I'm more factual. So I've researched that you have your own brokerage, so it's really a plus you have it, because it means stability. It means a strong foundation for the company. And of course, I have checked and verified the Trustpilot reviews. And what's important for me is like 90% of the people are receiving their payouts and constantly, being served well and
Well,
on
as
a
you'll
daily
know,
basis.
as one of our successful traders, it is as simple as follow the rules and get paid. That is as
Yeah.
simple as it is. And you're obviously you said yourself you nearly hit $10,000 with us, and you've been paid. So this is the thing: you follow the rules, you'll always get paid, and that is just how it runs. So moving forward, then, how have you found the overall community at Alpha Capital Group?
Yeah, actually, right now, Alpha Capital Group, I have observed that there are a lot of people that are trusting the company. So I can say that this will be good for the company in the long run. Sure, good for all of us.
And what would you like to see added to Alpha Capital Group? What could we do better?
Probably, of course, maybe faster scheduling, maybe for the interview. But actually, I can understand, because you have a lot of customers. So um, it's not an issue actually. I just have to wait for it. Maybe what I can say is just you have to continue what you're doing good right now. So that's what
Perfect.
I can say.
Perfect. And what is the next 12 months going to look like for you? What is your goal?
So right now, 2025 is the year for me, of course, to get more of my goals that I have not achieved 2024. So to do that, I need to have more funding, of course, and to be consistent, because to be transparent, I am not that the best trader I can say for myself. I still have a lot of things to learn. I'm still developing my discipline and risk management because sometimes there you have life outside trading and sometimes it affects you. So
Yeah.
right now I am just more focused on, as I mentioned, mastering the process so that I can always repeat the results even if no matter what happens. Short, I want to build more mechanical type way of trading and of course more wisdom to have a better way to have of course another type of like discretionary trading if you say like that.
So what is your free tips if you had to give me some tips right now?
For beginners, yeah, maybe as I mentioned, you have to uh, accept that it's not an easy process. It's as cliche as it may sound, but just have to never give up because if I recall, if I have given up in this industry, maybe or not, maybe I'm pretty sure I will not be here right now because if you just continue learning, adjusting what needs to be adjusted, I've realized along the way that the market is not our enemy. The biggest enemy that we have is ourselves because the market's always there. In fact, it doesn't care about us. Whatever market it is, forex, crypto, stock market, it's just there. So in other words, there are people that are earning from the market and there are people that are not. So the only factor is you. So as they say, you versus you, me versus me.
Amazing. That is amazing, mate. Brilliant. So for my next interview, what is a question you would like me to ask the next trader?
For the next trader, maybe what's their ultimate trading goal? If
Brilliant.
that
Brilliant.
exists.
I'll make sure to ask him. Well, Jay, thank you very much for joining me today. It's been absolutely amazing to talk to you. You've got such a story that I want to share with everyone, and it's amazing to see you absolutely killing it. We're very proud to have you here at Alpha Capital Group, and I wish you all the best with your journey going forward.